Hi everyone, thanks so much for tuning into this video tour of the Retain online community, also known as the ROC. This is the first in a three-part series of short videos designed to walk you through the ROC's features and content. On today's episode, we are going to review the process for logging on to the ROC, as well as the overall navigation of the site so that you know what you'll find in each section. So let's start with the basics, logging on. You'll find the ROC at retainta.org. Members of each retained state team have been provided with a username and password for accessing the ROC. If you don't have these credentials already, you can request them by clicking Request an Account here on the left-hand side, the right-hand side. Or you can talk to your AR state liaison to request a username and password. Once you have your username and password, you log in here in the upper right-hand corner by clicking Log In. There's my username and password. I could enter those and I click Log In. I can tell I'm logged in because I can see my username in the upper right-hand corner. After logging in, let's take a look at the home page. The home page has two sections, What's New, which is a great place to see some of the most recent tools and resources that have been posted to the ROC. These items are also accessible through other sections of the site, of course, but they're cross-referenced here for easy access to the latest and greatest. Scrolling down a bit further is a list of available areas on the ROC. And this is essentially a repeat of the main navigation bar on the left-hand side that we can open by clicking these three lines, but with some handy descriptions on each of the sections. Now let's talk about that left navigation bar, as well as the upper navigation bar. As I said, you open the left navigation bar by clicking these three links. You can see that the top navigation bar has some of the same sections as the left-hand navigation bar, and that is by design. It is helpful to think of the left navigation as your comprehensive main menu and the top bar as easy access points for what we feel will be your most used sections of the ROC. So we're giving you lots of different ways to get the same information. We want to conclude today's video with a little primer on what you'll find in each of the main sections of the ROC. This will be a quick, high-level review, while parts 2 and 3 of this video series will explore the various sections in more depth. Again, you can access many of the sections from both the top bar and the left-hand navigation bar. But today we're going to work down that left-hand nav bar. Starting at the top, we have something called the dashboard. This is very similar to your home page, but with the added advantage of having the calendar and a list of upcoming events on the right-hand side of your screen for easy reference. And speaking of the calendar, that's what's next on the tab on the left navigation, calendar. The calendar features all upcoming retained TA events such as webinars, site visits, all grantee calls, and more. Next, you'll find About Retained TA tab, which features photos, titles, and background on members of the retained TA team. Then you have your ROC topic pages, which is a very important and central section of the ROC. We'll be exploring this section in depth in our next video, but you should consider this section the starting point for exploring everything retained TA has to offer in 6 particular topic areas: operational planning and implementation, recruitment and enrollment, collaborating with partners and stakeholders, communication and branding, measurement and evaluation, and IT data systems. So below are topic pages you'll find the Retain TA blog section, where you'll find all the latest blogs by our subject matter experts, and a link to read more about the blog, as well as a description and the title. Below the blog, we have our Retain publications, and this includes versions of the Retain Report newsletter and the For Your Insight e-blasts. So if you've missed an email or you want to go back, you can always find those here. Next, in the left nav bar, we have our webinars, podcasts, and communities of practice. This section is pretty self-explanatory. Again, it has descriptions of each of the resource and a link to watch them live. Now, finally, below webcast, podcasts, and live COPs, we have our master resource library. We'll be taking a deeper dive into this feature in part 3 of our video series, but this is the page, this page of the master directory, this page is a master directory of all the resources referenced throughout the ROC. If you know what you're looking for, this is a good place to find it. Otherwise, all our resources link back to here. So that concludes part 1 of our ROC video series, and we thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to check out parts 2 and 3 for more in-depth reviews and more information. In the meantime, you can get started anytime at retainta.org.